Thunder rumbled across the night sky as Grace fought to keep her eyes open during her shift at St. John Hospital. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each passing second stretching into eternity. The coffee she clutched had gone cold long ago, yet she held it tightly, savoring what little warmth remained in the sterile emergency room. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whoosh, bringing with them a blast of wind and rain. Grace glanced up, expecting another late-night patient, but what she saw made her question reality. There, framed by the fluorescent lights of the entrance, stood a massive African lion. Its golden mane was damp from the rain, and in its mouth, it carried something wrapped in a blue blanket. Time seemed to slow as the magnificent creature padded forward, its massive paws leaving wet imprints on the pristine floor. The few people present remained frozen, caught between fear and disbelief. The lion's deep, knowing eyes locked onto Grace's, holding something beyond comprehension: intelligence, purpose, and an inexplicable gentleness. With remarkable care, the lion lowered its head and placed the bundle on the floor. The blanket shifted, revealing a tiny baby. Pale, cold, but alive. Without hesitation, Grace stepped forward, her medical instincts overriding her fear. The lion didn't move, watching intently as she knelt beside the infant. Nestled within the folds of the blanket, a golden medallion glinted under the hospital's lights, inscribed with a single message: "To Anna, protect him at all costs." The baby needed urgent medical attention. Grace signaled for assistance, and her colleagues rushed forward with a gurney. Amidst the chaos, the lion remained unnervingly still, its piercing gaze tracking every movement. It wasn't until the baby was safely on the way to the intensive care unit that the majestic creature finally turned to leave. At the doorway, it hesitated, glancing back one last time before vanishing into the storm. Grace's hands trembled as she filled out the preliminary paperwork. The medallion weighed heavily in her pocket, a tangible reminder that what she had witnessed was real. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had just stepped into something far greater than herself, something beyond logic or explanation. Her thoughts were interrupted when the doors burst open again. A man stumbled inside, his clothes drenched, his face lined with desperation. In his trembling hands, he clutched a photograph. "Please," he gasped. "I'm looking for my son. My wife, Anna. There was an accident on the coastal road. The baby wasn't in the car when they found it. Please, tell me he's here." Grace's heart pounded at the mention of Anna's name. She glanced down at the photograph. A beautiful woman holding a newborn. Around the baby's neck was a medallion identical to the one now in her pocket. As she met the man's pleading eyes, she knew this stormy night was only the beginning of an extraordinary story, one that would change all their lives forever. Ryan Walker sat in the hospital waiting room, gripping the golden medallion tightly as he told Grace his story. He spoke of his wife Anna, a woman with an uncanny bond with animals, especially Aurelius, the lion at the local wildlife sanctuary. Ryan described how Anna had spent countless hours near Aurelius's enclosure, filling her journal with notes about ancient legends and guardian spirits. She believed Aurelius was more than just a lion, Ryan said, his voice thick with emotion. She told me stories passed down through generations in her family, about guardian animals who protect those in need. I thought they were just myths, but now, he trailed off, his gaze fixed on the medallion that matched the one found with their son. Grace recounted the lion's arrival at the hospital, watching Ryan's expression shift from disbelief to wonder. The coincidences were too precise. The medallions, the timing, the way the lion had known exactly where to bring the baby. It defied explanation. Security footage confirmed Grace's account as they watched the video. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. The lion's face, perfectly captured on the screen, bore a distinctive scar above its right eye. "That's Aurelius," he whispered. "But it's impossible. The sanctuary, closed years ago after a financial collapse. No one knows what happened to the animals. Together, they began piecing together the puzzle. Anna had been driving home from her mother's house when her car skidded off the coastal road. By the time emergency services arrived, the baby was gone. Somehow, Aurelius had found him and brought him to safety. Grace opened the baby's medical charts on her tablet. "His recovery is extraordinary," she remarked. "His vitals are stronger than we expected. It's almost as if—" She hesitated, unsure whether to voice the thought forming in her mind. As if someone is watching over him. Their conversation was interrupted by a nurse rushing in with urgent news. "The baby's awake," she announced. "And there's something you need to see." In the nursery, faint paw prints dusted the windowsill. Prints far too large to belong to any ordinary house cat. Ryan reached into his wallet and unfolded a worn page from Anna's journal, dated just a week before the accident. The words sent chills down Grace's spine. Aurelius isn't bound by ordinary laws of nature. He appears when he is needed most, crossing boundaries between worlds to protect those in danger. The medallion is the key. It always has been. As if on cue, both medallions began to warm in their hands, their engravings glowing with a faint golden light. Outside, a distant roar echoed through the stormy night. Grace and Ryan exchanged a knowing, sore glance. Their journey to uncover the truth about Aurelius, Anna, and the ancient power that connected them all was only just beginning. The old wildlife sanctuary loomed ahead, its rusted iron gates standing like a portal to secrets long forgotten. Tangled with creeping vines, the rusted gates of the old sanctuary loomed before them. Grace and Ryan had followed the coordinates hidden within Anna's medallion, leading them to this desolate spot just outside Charleston. A thick morning fog clung to the earth, shrouding the scene in an otherworldly haze, one that mirrored the enigma they sought to unravel. As they pushed open the groaning gate, their footsteps crunching against the damp earth, they spotted fresh paw prints in the mud, enormous prints. The tracks wound deeper into the sanctuary's forgotten grounds, a silent confirmation that they were not alone. Ryan clutched Anna's journal tightly, its pages filled with sketches of ancient symbols. Symbols identical to those engraved on their medallions. The visitor center was a shell of its former self, nature reclaiming its walls. Inside, Anna's old office remained untouched, preserved beneath layers of dust. Photographs lined the walls. Anna and Aurelius through the years, from her childhood to just months before the accident. In each image, the lion's intelligent gaze seemed to pierce the camera, conveying something beyond animal awareness. "Look at this," Grace murmured, pointing to a hidden panel behind Anna's desk. As if responding to their presence, the medallions in their possession began to warm. When they placed them together, they formed a perfect key. With a soft click, the panel slid open, revealing a chamber that shouldn't have existed in a modern building. The hidden room was lined with ancient hieroglyphs and paintings depicting lions as protectors of humanity. Papers pinned to the wall detailed carbon dating results, proving the chamber predated the sanctuary by centuries. Anna's research notes covered the surfaces, linking historical events to sightings of mysterious lions appearing to shield the innocent. "She knew," Ryan whispered, tracing Anna's handwriting with his fingertips. "She knew Aurelius wasn't just a lion." Grace's eyes fell upon a leather-bound book. Inside were detailed accounts of Aurelius's extraordinary abilities, his apparent agelessness, his ability to appear and vanish at will, and, most importantly, his connection to the medallions. According to Anna's findings, the medallions were part of an ancient pact, an unbroken bond between the guardians and those they were destined to protect. Before they could process the magnitude of their discovery, a powerful roar shook the foundations of the building. Through the window, Aurelius's massive form emerged from the mist, patrolling the perimeter as if he had never abandoned his sacred duty. Grace's phone vibrated in her pocket, a message from the hospital. The baby's recovery was accelerating at an unprecedented rate, but there was something else. Strange occurrences had been reported around his room. Staff members spoke of hearing low, soothing growls in the middle of the night. Security cameras flickered, sometimes capturing the brief shadow of a large figure watching over the nursery. Back at the hospital, Ryan cradled his son, now named Leo, in honor of his silent protector. Grace sat nearby, transcribing the most critical findings from Anna's research. The baby's presence radiated an unusual warmth, comforting everyone who held him. But the most inexplicable phenomenon was captured by the hospital's night monitors. During the stillest hours, a faint golden glow would illuminate Leo's room. A soft sound, gentle purring, could be heard over the baby monitors. Nurses who stepped inside described an overwhelming sense of peace, as if an unseen force was standing watch. Ryan discovered more entries in Anna's journal, entries that read like prophecy. She had written of an approaching challenge, a time when the Guardian's presence would be more crucial than ever. The last entry, dated just days before the accident, chilled him to the core. Our son will bridge two worlds. Aurelius isn't just his protector, he's his teacher, his guide through what's to come. Grace's research revealed another layer of mystery. The sanctuary had not been built by chance. It stood atop a powerful convergence of ley lines, ancient energy pathways that Anna believed amplified Aurelius's abilities. The sanctuary had been disguised as a wildlife preserve, yet it was so much more. And then, as if to confirm their discoveries, strange events began unfolding throughout Charleston. Farmers reported livestock mysteriously protected from predators. Children spoke of a golden beast visiting their dreams, bringing comfort during thunderstorms. Local newspapers ran stories of massive paw prints appearing at the sites of near accidents, as if some unseen force had intervened to prevent tragedy. One evening, as Grace finished her shift, she found fresh roses on her desk, Anna's favorite flowers. But the security footage revealed no visitor, only a brief golden blur. Aurelius was watching, acknowledging them. Through it all, Leo flourished. His eyes, too wise for a child so young, held the same deep knowing as Aurelius. And sometimes, when the light struck them just right, they shimmered. With a golden hue, Ryan began to notice something else. Leo had no fear of storms, no fear of the dark. Instead, he would smile, stretching his tiny hands toward empty corners of the room, as though greeting an invisible presence. Then came the revelation. It happened on a storm-swept night at the sanctuary. Grace and Ryan had returned to continue their research when, without warning, both medallions began to pulse, throbbing with an intense, rhythmic energy. A sudden gust of wind howled through the broken windows. Outside, amidst the mist and shadows, Aurelius stood waiting, and this time, he was not alone. Golden light bathed the chamber as the ancient symbols on the walls pulsed in harmony with the medallions. It was as if the sanctuary itself was awakening, recognizing the presence of its rightful heirs. Anna's final journal entries held the last piece of the truth. The Guardians were not just protectors, they were guides, chosen to prepare certain individuals for their roles in maintaining the balance between the natural and supernatural worlds. As Ryan traced the faded ink of Anna's words, his fingers brushed against a hidden compartment. Inside, he found a letter addressed to their son. My dearest Leo, if you are reading this, then Aurelius has already begun his sacred duty. The connection between our family and the Guardian spans generations. Your great-grandmother was the first to recognize Aurelius's true nature, and every generation since has played a part in preserving the ancient pact between humans and Guardians. The letter revealed that Anna had foreseen her time was limited, yet she had vowed to protect Leo beyond the constraints of life and death. The medallions were not mere relics. They were conduits of an ancient power, granting their bearers glimpses into the Guardian's realm. Through these artifacts, Grace and Ryan could now see fleeting visions of other Guardian spirits, silent sentinels, watching over their chosen charges across the world. Back at the hospital, Leo's presence was changing lives. Parents noticed their children recovering more quickly when placed near his nursery. An unshakable peace filled the ward, easing suffering and bringing an unexplained sense of comfort to those in need. Through the medallions, Grace and Ryan witnessed Aurelius extending his protection beyond Leo. They saw him racing through city streets at night, intervening just before accidents occurred, guiding lost children home, and standing guard over those most vulnerable. The ancient guardian was fulfilling a role as old as human civilization itself. As Leo grew, his connection to Aurelius became undeniable. His laughter would sometimes coincide with distant, gentle roars, and his dreams were filled with visions of running alongside his guardian through mystical landscapes unseen by ordinary eyes. 6 months after that fateful storm, St. John's Hospital had transformed into an unexpected sanctuary. Leo's nursery had become a place of healing. His presence, a quiet beacon of hope. Though Aurelius remained unseen, his invisible presence was felt by all who entered. The guardian's protection stretched beyond the hospital walls, rippling outward like a tide. Strange but beautiful changes spread through Charleston. Livestock remained unharmed, lost pets miraculously found their way home, and an undeniable sense of safety blanketed the city. Grace had fully embraced her role as Leo's godmother, guiding Ryan through the extraordinary responsibility of raising a child. Touched by destiny, the medallions they wore served as a constant reminder of the ancient legacy they had inherited, one Anna had devoted her life to understanding. Through the medallion's power, they witnessed Leo's abilities beginning to manifest. Plants flourished in his presence. Birds and woodland creatures gathered near his window, drawn to the quiet, radiant energy he emitted. But most remarkably, on quiet nights, they could hear him purring in response to Aurelius' distant calls, already learning the language of the guardians. The sanctuary, once abandoned and forgotten, had been restored. Its true purpose was now clear to those who knew its secrets. The ancient chamber became a repository of knowledge, documenting the ongoing relationship between humanity and its silent protectors. And then, the impossible happened. Other guardians began to reveal themselves. Across the world, magnificent lions emerged from the shadows, each watching over their own chosen charge. Some were seen in fleeting glimpses, golden figures at the edge of disaster, intervening just in time. Others appeared only in whispered legends, their presence acknowledged by those whose lives had been inexplicably saved. Aurelius's role evolved alongside Leo's growth. No longer just a protector, he had become a mentor, preparing the boy for his destiny as a bridge between two worlds. Anna's final gift to her son was not merely knowledge, it was purpose. Through Leo, the ancient bond between guardians and humanity would flourish once more, ensuring future generations would benefit from their silent protection. As Grace finished transcribing the last of Anna's journals, she looked up and froze. Aurelius stood in the doorway of the sanctuary's hidden chamber, his golden eyes filled with the same wisdom and purpose she had seen that first stormy night. Behind him, the setting sun cast long shadows through the trees, and in the distance, a chorus of roars echoed across the landscape, a sound both ancient and eternal. The voices of other guardians, acknowledging their youngest charge, a promise that the bond would never be broken. Would you believe that someone, whether a person or an animal, could watch over and protect us from beyond? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.